I feel like I should look better if I'm talking about a James Bond movie, but I'm not going to change my clothes. Today we are talking about 2012's Skyfall. Where do I even begin? Skyfall, it's a James Bond movie. You don't need to know anything else about the plot. Previously, my favorite James Bond film was The World Is Not Enough. It's just so good. But after seeing Skyfall, I kind of fell in love with it. And it sort of tied and or took the place of The World Is Not Enough on my favorite James Bond film list. So we're just gonna start from the beginning. The opening sequence is literally the most gorgeous James Bond opener that I think I have ever seen in my entire life. It is just so well done, and it is cinematically perfect. It is beautiful. The way it just flows is so magical. I mean, I know that all the James Bond openers do, but this one in particular, just like the colors and the way everything looks, and it's creepy and it's weird, but it's so awesome. And then Adele's song. Adele's damn song. Her song is just so I'm like shaking. It's so good. It is so just beautiful, and it just fits the movie. It just sets you up right at the beginning for what the film's gonna be like. Like, it's just grand and suspenseful and magical and majestic and just straight up gorgeous. This was the 50th anniversary of the James Bond films, so obviously they had a lot to live up to with this film. And I really feel like they did. Like Batman, James Bond was sort of very weathered in this film. He was tired of his job and he had to like seclude himself from England, and he was just very beaten up and he needed some time to himself. And then when he came back, everything was just goddamn crazy. I want to be a spy. Like, that was the one thing my mom totally idolized when we were children, and it's definitely something that my sister and I picked up on. There was one career path that was so prominent in my household and something that my mom would have wanted us to become, it would be a spy. Because spies are just rad. Like, they're so cool, and that's what I love about James Bond. He's just like the epitome of coolness, and he's just awesome. The entire film is gorgeous. More so than any of the other James Bond films because of Sam Mendes, and this was his first Bond film. As far as the revamped James Bonds go, this one was more beautiful than, say, Casino Royale or Quantum of Solace. Sam Mendes knows what he's doing, and this was his first, hopefully not his last James Bond film. Rumor has it he's going to do Bond 24. Visually, this film was so appealing because Sam just knows what he's doing with color and light and just setting and everything, and it's gorgeous. And then, of course, Daniel Craig. And then Ralph Fiennes. And then the biggest of the big, the reason I think this is my favorite James Bond film is Ben Whishaw as Q, because never before and never again will there be a more perfect Q. I know Q is supposed to be old, and the previous 4 Qs, for those of you that don't know, were played by old farty men. The last Q we had was John Cleese, so we had that sort of comedic value. I mean, Q is kind of a jokester, but, you know, John Cleese obviously was more kidding and less heavy material. And, you know, Ben Whishaw just has a very playful spirit in the same way John Cleese does. Just such a good Q. And it's just perfect because he's such a like nerdy Q, and it's so relevant to the times. And there's a lot of internet warfare that is like prevalent now, more so than like gun on gun, spies on the field, as they explain in the movie. So he was definitely the perfect like addition to the cast. It was just such a great journey to take with them, and it was very like scary and suspenseful, and until you finally meet Javier Bardem, our villain, who, oh god, he was so creepy and so perfect. Javier Bardem is literally like a king among men. He just genius. And his whole analogy was the rats. He's just such a grotesque character, and Javier Bardem played him so well. And then, you know, M and all her business. And of course, we have Albert Finney as the gamekeeper of Skyfall, and it is just majestic. I love how they set this movie up for another movie. Like with our new M and our introduction to Moneypenny, which is such a big development in the plot that I literally lost my shit when I saw this movie. Melissa was with me and she goes, "Who's Moneypenny?" And I almost spat in her face. I was so angry, but whatever. Anyway, every scene is gorgeous because there wasn't an excessive amount of CGI. There wasn't like too much ridiculous business. It was all very real. It just didn't require a lot of like suspension of disbelief because it all seemed like it could really happen. I mean, except him coming back to life in the beginning, but whatever. It is a great place to start an obsession with James Bond if you're not already, and then work your way backwards, whatever you want to do, however you want to roll with this. If you haven't seen Skyfall, I really don't understand what you're waiting for because it is so freaking incredible. The scene where all the spies are killed and M is standing with all of the caskets covered in the UK flag, and then the scene where Q is just with the whole monitor setup is beautiful, and all of Skyfall is gorgeous, and it's just so good.
They had put a fart machine into my sleeping bag.